decided to stream this to YouTube at the same time. So I'm just and that should be enough of a lead in without having to edit much of it. So, yep, good evening, everyone, for those who are watching the replay. And because, yeah, I don't think I've allowed public on the YouTube session, but certainly anyone that has found the link in the Boomer Press Facebook page can join in as they desire. I'm just going to go over to what I've opened up in the screen sharing. So here we go. Now, I'm hoping there's not too much of a delay here. So what you're seeing here is the Scrivener. And I know this is probably like the Zoom type thing where you get a bit of a delay when you're using any of these types of live streaming things. Wants me to do a update on the Scrivener. I'm not doing that while I'm on live. So we'll spend the half hour and do a little bit of writing. Just as a reminder with the Scrivener that it creates the manuscript from the top. Here we've got, I've put it in the novel format. So it's the manuscript at the top, and what I've done is got it in the 3 parts. And as you can see, there's the manuscript from the top. As 3 parts, we've got the early years, then it's the adult years, then it's the twilight years. And these are just in that way of being a draft. There's absolutely nothing near finished with this at all. And you'll see that I've got a section for the characters. That's my dad. And I'll do more explaining as I go. You can see my other characters there, which is my family. And there'll be more added eventually. But this, at the moment, as a draft, you just put down your thoughts as you need to. And here's the places. You see that there is Menlaton, Canalpa, Menengi, Port Elliot, Kangaroo Island. They're the places that I've been involved with as spaces and places that I've actually lived in. I had forgotten about Birdwood there as one of the spaces that I've actually lived in. But it depends on how much detail you really want for any information to be put in there. Now, as far as with any of these, I haven't put any details in for Menengi. I haven't even put any details in for Port Elliot yet. You can see how they've got the little icons there. And what I do want to put in is, and there's Milton where I was born. So I am going to slot in a page that I want to call, what did I call it? Birdwood, wasn't it? Because I did spend some time there. So I'll just add that there. I'm not going to tizzy that up at the moment. I'm just going to have location, role and story related. Look, I'll leave all of that there because it can sometimes be relevant. Right, so that was the places. With any book, you need to have the front matter, and Scrivener actually does put a lot of this in as per your own details of what you have from signing up to or purchasing the program. So my front matter would have that, and it's in the front, there it is. It's the manuscript format and the title page. So this brings it down to what you saw as front matter there. And this is where you do them separately for the, excuse me, for a paperback book and an ebook, purely because these are formatted slightly differently. And I've given an example there, or I have actually, a cover that I had from an author. It's a template that I've been able to gather from some of what I've learnt in a in a school type thing, a writing school. So that's the front manner. So all of these are relevant. This one's just any notes that you want to put in here. And you can do as many types of things that you want to in this as well. And I have been trying to follow this, that is the memoir map that I got from a class that I did as well. So since we're concentrating on memoir for this, that's what I'm going to do, follow that particular thing, which if you watch the previous ones I've done, it's what will have been the standard of what I've done. And these come with Scrivener, so we don't need to be too worried about it. Now, I have done some research around about what happened in Midland in the 1950s. Now, I think I shared this with you last time as far as using perplexity. So that's what I have been doing, using as my artificial intelligence. Are they really? It's just it's a program that's been trained on millions of bits of data. That's pretty much what a artificial intelligent thing does. That's how it's been designed. That's putting it really, really roughly. But that's, I actually found the exercise of doing that quite good. And it brings up some further research links that I can go to for any extra information if I so desire, because that's the part I like of it being such a good reference material. It's going to give a lot of nice history that, whether I use it or not, I don't know, but it's there. And the rest of these are something that we're not going to be using. So I thought we'd re-look at, the memoir map. Okay, now I haven't got any particular format that I'm using for this, as far as following it. I think because, it's a step-by-step, yeah, but it's not a strict step-by-step. So ask yourself, why are you writing a memoir? To leave a legacy, to inspire, to process your own experiences. And this is where I don't know yet. I'm just doing the jotting down of things as they come along. And I thought, well, what I'd do is probably write down some of the things that I've done as per travelling experiences, because it is something that I'm planning, and it's probably things really that we're needing to take note of when we're taking note of when we're in the process of putting it all together, remembering that it does take a lot of time to do all of this, and not to worry so much about the details, but while you're remembering to do, to put it together, to bring it together, while you're remembering some particular thing that you've had happen or that you've done, to write it down. And so that's why with the Scrivener, it's what I'll be doing more of, is just putting it in the Scrivener in the notes. So when we're looking at this map that's showing up here, I've just got to go back to Scrivener. Don't worry so much about this yet, but you've got a rough idea why, whether it is a legacy or to be an inspiration to others. Because if I wanted to, I could probably write about my experiences as being a cancer survivor, to inspire people by writing a memoir. Or it could be, which I still don't know whether, I think it's probably more to leave a legacy, because of the history of how my husband and I had built up a business. And then, life experiences being what they are, we did divorce. He kept on with the business and built it up to a very good, big business. It was a multi-million earning capacity, etc. And he died tragically, and that business didn't survive that factor. and it is now no longer, and I want the story told. I think is why I'm wanting to continue on with doing this more as a leaving a legacy. So, but it might change, and while I really decide on that, it is a bit, or to process your own experiences. It could be that is going to be part of leaving the legacy, because it was my own experiences that I had from that that really shows up. Oh, does that show up, that little AI assistant thing that comes up in Scrivener? I didn't notice that. Sorry, you're getting a bit extra view there. So you do choose your central theme or message. Well, we're just piecing together bits of information at the moment. I haven't been able to spend as much time as I wanted to get everything done. And if there is a timeline, look, we're all getting older. So make a timeline, frame it up with being a project, even project manage it if you've got limited time. So identify the time frame or the journey arc. So you go through this as you know it, because you're the best person that does know it. Particular life chapter, raising kids, marriage, and that's part of where I've got the early years, the adult years, and the twilight. I've decided to do that. Whether there's a major life change, well, there was divorce. But my major life change was children, having children and marrying. And then the next major life change was divorce. And yeah, there's a lot of things that happen in life, isn't it? So here we go with the brainstorm and gather memories. I'm at this point, so I'm still here doing this, and the intention is to, as one of them is to type up my dad's diaries in a different file, so that there is a time frame of the history that he's put down on paper and write his at the same, not at the same time, but to have his there as a foundation for where I started as, Ros Boundy, and moved on to being Ros Betts and back to Ros Boundy. It's the whole flow that we can make in what suits you as far as that method. But what we're doing, we start loose, beginning, middle, end. So that'll be the next step. We're not there yet. So at the moment, I'm actually at this one here. So I'm just going to highlight all of that, and we know where we're up to, okay, as far as the mind map goes. So that's where I'd probably go back to here and have a look at what each of these steps are now. I have got it in individual, chapter 1, the earlier years, just being set up this way with little snippets, but at the moment it's not, we're not looking at the format of anything at all. And if you just hold on a moment, I'm going to let the dog in. Oreo does like to keep me company, so he likes being in here at the same time. So I can reread this. It was just one of those snippets that I remembered. So I remember the day that I was playing at the end of our driveway on the farm at Millerton. Would have been only about 4 years old, and I had a toy car and a doll that I took with me on a walk to the roadway. Not that far, but it seemed like a huge journey at the time, and I was going on an adventure. If Mum had known where I was at the time, I'm sure I would have had a telling off, and continue the story from here. So from there, I'm just going to keep on writing little bits as I go. So being so engrossed in my play. There was a mummy and a daddy in my story. I remember building a road through the muddy drain way, and then creating a bit of a house site area in the middle of the salt bush that was there, flattening the grasses and bushes, getting some sticks and putting them together as if it was a doll's house. No recollection of how long I was there, but that I was having so much fun with my make-believe family. I got hungry. Walking back to the family home, up the driveway, I wasn't thinking at all about if I was going to be in any trouble. I know that I needed some food. I hadn't even realised I was so dirty. As soon as I walked into the back porch and went up to Mum, who was in the laundry. Doing the washing, all I got was how on earth did you get to be so dirty? I'll have to put you in the washing machine, clothes and all. Where's that one? All this grammar stuff will happen afterwards because I've got no idea. I can't remember how to do the proper English way of formatting this, and it doesn't matter. Just put your thoughts down. But what I remember most was I was terrified that she was about to pick me up and put me in that huge machine. It was one of those little incidences that I just, yes, things do make an impression on your mind, don't they? And it's, really rather horrible. She didn't. Of course, she didn't. Okay, I'll leave that there. So that's just a continuation. So it's just something I remember from I didn't finish that bit. Probably because I was doing this live here and just hadn't got round to finishing it because of that, and I was going on with something else that I was showing you. Now, with the swimming lessons, okay, here's another continue. So the beautiful sunny days that we were experiencing were the perfect timing to be at the beach. At Port Rickaby, there are about 12 shacks not far from the beachfront, but they didn't have an absolute waterfront view, so there was a small sand dune that blocked any direct view. There was also a large commercial iron shed that had an area that served as public cafeteria where ice creams, drinks, lollies and various snacks could be purchased. I think they also had a pie warmer with the usual hot pies and pasties. Sandwiches were of course a staple in those days, so I'm sure they were available as well. The most popular part of the beach was the jetty. Many people would take their fishing rods and lines to fish for the whiting, squid and tommies. I can't remember too much of other fish that were caught because I was too young to be doing that. My brother liked fishing for squid. What my sisters and I did a lot of was picking the periwinkles off the rocks and taking them to Mum, who had a tin and a small fire that she cooked them in straight away. A needle or tack was used to poke out the cooked meat. That was fun. Right, continue. Now, I certainly have a big memory of doing swimming lessons at Port Rickaby as well. We started taking our lessons from when we were 6, from the age of 6 years old. It was the first rotation of these lessons that I remember the best, because it was coming up to the exam day after the 2 weeks of lesson times. It was the last day, and as I went to walk out into the water to do my test swim, my back began to really sting, and I was in horrendous pain. I turned around and walked back to Mum, screaming in agony, and she couldn't console me at all. I had no idea that I had developed a rash on my back, and it was that rash that was reacting to the salt water. Now I'm just going to put in here, that one. I've driven part of the adventure of swimming at the beach was going into the change shed, which was a Besser block with 2 sides, 2 big rooms that had showers in some alcoves and a communal dressing change area. It was an adventure. It was very interesting to be discreet in how the clothes came off and the bathers were donned. Anyway, there we go. It's the last day, and this is where edits come into it. We edit later, but I've added that piece because it was part of the experience of actually being in the at the beach. Now, once the others, actually once my siblings had done their tests for their swim, I'm not sure if we stayed for more swimming or whether we went into Minleton to see the doctor. Regardless of the timeline of the doctor's visit to the doctor, it was diagnosed that I had shingles. It was awful. So painful and itchy, and all I wanted to do was to scratch at the rash, which being on the back was impossible. But you know how we can find a way if we have the will. Mum had put the calamine lotion all over my back, and I was told not to try scratching, and I went out behind the car in the carport, leaned up against the breeze block bricks and had a fun and relieved the itch. Unfortunately, I was caught out because it had caused the rash to start bleeding because of the roughness of those bricks. Right, so that's that one. We'll leave that there for today. Here we are. I think I've finished this. I haven't put a continue there as far as the horses go. So it's just a matter of plodding along and putting further interest and stories in here. So this one was the first day at school. I need to remember a few of the details for these to be able to put them in. for now. So I'm going to leave it there because I have got other things I need to be doing tonight. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.